Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the first official episode of the Creative Amplifiers show. Now, if you're new here, this is the place where we're going to bring video creators, podcast makers, and some cocktail shakers all together in one place to share their creative journey and amplify the talents of the amazing people that use Ecamm Live. And that is the software we're using today to stream and hopefully record this show. Now, for those of you who don't know who we are, my name's Neil. We have Mark here and Lisa, and we all met at Ecamm's Creator Camp back in October. And we thought, because we liked each other so much, and we were talking to many different wonderful people at Creator Camp, we thought it would be a good idea to get together, get a show set up, and therefore we could then talk to people and have some wonderful guests on the show and talk to them. But Lisa, you have a much eloquent way of saying how we all got together.
See how eloquent it is. So I think the main reason is, as the three of us kept gathering and having meals, we kept talking about the stories we were hearing from the people in Creator Camp. There was so much talent, there was so much imagination and vision, and I felt like, and we all felt like, it needed to be celebrated and it needed to be shared with other people. And most people think Ecamm is just for live, and it's not, because as we learned through all the stories, that people use this in so many different ways for so many different purposes. And also a lot of the stories were about how, by starting to use Ecamm and getting their messages out into the world, they were actually able to change their lives. And so that's impactful to me and to all of us. And so we were like, let's celebrate the Ecamm Fam. So that's why we're here. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
It was that sense. We wanted to hang out and have some people kind of hang out with us, wasn't it? We thought we had a great time for 3 or 4 days, and everyone's going home, and we're like, but we don't want to just go home. We want it to sort of hang out, and we know everyone loves hanging out in the chat as well. So we thought we'll give you a place to have fun, to join in with what's going on, and here we are, and it's been a great journey so far.
Yeah, and as we said before, actually, after our meal and after we decided we were going to do this show the next morning, after a few drinks and things, we actually did decide that we still liked each other, and we thought we'll continue doing it. So here we are, and we're doing it today. So we see some people already have joined. Thank you for joining today. If you would like to let us know who you are and where you're from, where are you viewing us from today on the interwebs, that would be great, and we'll pop you up in a moment. Anyway, we have a guest, of course, today. But before that, I need to hand over to Mark, who's going to talk about the merch.
Well, we did think that one of the most important things of Ken and Glenn's live stream the other day was the merch. I have very much a need for the retro yellow T-shirt that we saw. So we thought what we would do is we give you a chance to, if you haven't been to the merch store already, let's have a little look through and have a look and see. Some great options here, as we can see. We have the T-shirts there. I like the new logos that they have. There's the yellow one. That's the one I'm after. Is the yellow retro one. It's definitely, I think, it's kind of my era. That's probably the reason why it's important. We have a slight running joke here about mine not being able to see many colours. So I really liked the very bright coloured hoodie, which apparently turns out to be purple. But apparently that's cool according to my daughter as well. So that's fine. We're happy to go purple. Mugs, and look at that. I think Paul maybe was a model, Mr. Moderator, in a previous life.
Some serious leaning going on there. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Exactly. Very good stuff. So yeah, so we thought we'd share that. It was a really nice idea. Good chance for everybody to kind of share the love and share the pictures, and that's really, really important. So should we say hello to a few people?
Yes, let's do that. Hello.
So people already know that Roy's in the house, and we're going to be chatting to Roy very, very soon. And Marcus, how are you, Marcus? Thank you so much for being here.
Let's go, indeed.
Indeed. We gave Marcus a shout out, didn't we, in the last show, I believe?
Yes, we did.
He was part of our creative team. Yes.
Cool. Hey Dan, very nice for you being here. Now, this is an interesting one. I mean, there are two Brits here, but I'm not sure how Neil works this, bearing in mind he's living in Portugal. You're a bit more Euro now and party, hence the music at the beginning. But we never even
That's right, definitely.
talk about Robbie Williams. Not really, did we?
No,
It didn't
really.
come up. But it's interesting. It's important for us to be able to do it. Brilliant. How are you all?
Hello.
How are you all? We're good. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Where are we going to be? New York. NYC.
Wow, it is truly international.
It really is. It really is. How very exciting. And this is, like we said, this is one of the real reasons we wanted to do it. We really wanted to be able to kind of hang out properly and then share it. If you want to tell us what your show is, where you're hanging out for your personal thing, you can do that. We'll come back and choose some of those things as well, and go from there. Let me just see. Marcus had something to add to this. Didn't see the last show. Well, it's on the tube. You can go and have a look at it and find out what it was. We just thought.
And we're glad you're here, Susie.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, Marcus. There was prizes and money winging its way to you, but obviously you didn't make it to the show, so we can't send it to you now. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Never mind. And just one thing to mention about the merch show before we get our guest on is that the promo is still going on as far as we know. Katie hasn't told us otherwise yet. So promo code Ecamm Fam to get 15% discount at your checkout. Do it now before they revoke that voucher. All right. Our guest today is an IT professional, he's an educator, he's a content creator, and he's known to some in the trade as the tech troublemaker. But we know him and love him as Roy Richardson. So please give a warm welcome, Roy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. This is awesome. So hopefully my levels are great. But yeah, I've already ordered my Ecamm Fam hoodie. It's on the way. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Excellent. You could probably buy way too much there, right? That's the problem with this store. And there's some decent merch, good prices. I think I've purchased 2 or 3 things.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm saying on live show anyway at the moment. Maybe more will turn up. You never know. Anyway, so Roy, we all met, as most of us did, at the first time at Ecamm's Creator Camp last October. But there's maybe people out there listening to the show, and there it is. There is the mug. We all have that mug. I take it everywhere with me now. It's great. Yes. Bravo. Bravo. But for people who don't know you and what you do, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Techtroublemaker?
I have no idea. No.
Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah. No. I started with. I'm an Ecamm OG because I used to run Ecamm call recorder because I had a podcast and I used Skype for the podcast. I used Ecamm call recorder. And one day I got an email from Ken or Glenn that said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing live streaming to Facebook?" And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. But this sounds intriguing. And so I bought Ecamm Live and said at some point I'll use it. I think I found it on, AppSumo or something. It was going on there. And so I bought into it. And then it sat there doing nothing for a long time. And then finally I had a need. I want to go live. And so I'm on a Mac. I've got Ecamm.
Right.
There you go. And I started with it, and it was super easy to figure out how to use it. And then, of course, over the years, everybody's lucky. There's so many amazing tutorials out there now that talk about how to use the Ecamm product. I use it for recording tutorials. I use it for recording podcasts. I use it for my live stream. It's the Swiss Army knife for everything that I do. To me, it's the closest to buying a big broadcast studio that you can have without making that investment. Because a long time ago, I went to school for recording engineering. I was destined to be a rock star, and that didn't work out because my voice changed. So I said, well, I'll just work in the studio. And then life happened. I didn't do that. So here I am. The fact that you can do everything in a recording studio on a computer, and now you can do everything in a broadcast studio on your Mac. It's just amazing. And, I tried OBS and it has a learning curve. Yes, it was workable, but after it failed me a couple of times at at a church service that I work with. I was like, yeah, this has got to go. It's out, because it just would stop streaming in the middle of the stream, which is not a thing you like. So let's don't do that.
Yeah, I love that. And I was in exactly the same position, actually. I was doing my podcast and I was using Call Recorder for Skype. and I did the same thing. I bought it a long time before I actually used it. And the funny thing was that it was only the fact that my guest was saying, I've definitely got a Skype account, but I don't know what it is. And I thought that there's a need to move on now. So yeah, that same sort of journey, it came into its own a little while afterwards.
You know, and the way I got my start is, and I'll hit going live every Tuesday night for 3 years in April. So I go live every Tuesday night on my channel, Techtroublemaker, in case you're wondering. And I use Ecamm. I've been using it all this time. I'm also, so I work full time as an IT professional, supporting a lot of companies, and then the other part is I teach part time at colleges and universities. I think I joke I originally did that to pay off student loans, but the loans are paid off, and so I'm just doing it for fun now. And then I really enjoy the art of content creation and trying to get 1% better every single time you hit that record button or that go live button. And so that's what I'm all about. And Ecamm just makes it so easy, and so it's a great product. So I can't say enough nice stuff about it. I run the beta. Those guys, Ken and Glenn, it's very stable running the beta. So I like playing all the new features before anybody else gets them. So fun times.
I'm exactly the same. This is running on the beta right now. I don't actually use the GA version anymore because I'm just waiting for that next thing, especially when they mentioned about Zoom coming up. I'm like, can we just have it now? Can we just play with it now? I'm the same. You know, from a tech background, it's just like, let's play with the new features. And then when I end up sort of making these profiles for other people and sending it to them, they say, well, that doesn't work. There's no new feature in there. I think, I forgot. I'm still using the beta. But anyway, yeah, you're right. It is really stable. And I was the same. Many years ago, I started using Skype Call Recorder. So that's how I actually heard of Ecamm. And I didn't even know anything about Ecamm Live until a couple of years ago when I started using it. And I was trying to find out a way of recording things a bit better and OBS. And OBS, I guess when Ecamm first came out, wasn't even available for the Mac, right? It was purely a Windows system. So we didn't, as Mac users, really have many alternatives, if any, to do any live streaming. So thank God for Ecamm when it came out and so on. You mentioned actually your content creation journey and the podcasts and things that you do. So you create both a video and audio content right now. And I think you have a podcast that dives into sort of simplifying technology, because obviously that's your background being a technologist. And I think it's called the One-Off Technology Podcast. So tell us a little bit more about why, what made you start that in particular, and tell us about that.
Because I wanted to become famous, have my 15 minutes. No, I'm kidding. It was a way to talk about tech news and kind of simplify tech news. And I had a friend of mine along for the ride, and so we did the podcast. And he is a technical person, but he's not he's not a geek or a nerd like I am. And so he's like, oh well, somebody came out with something new. That's great. So we talk about it and just kind of play off of that, and just had a lot of fun doing that. We did that first season, and then I did a second season, and then I took a hiatus that I forgot to tell my listeners about. And and then Lita Live Every Day in April happened with Luria Petrucci and Livestream Bros, and that got me excited again about podcasting and going live on YouTube. I had wanted to go live on YouTube, but I suffered from perfectionism, and I was under the belief I have to collect all the gear, perfect gear, before I could go live. That's literally what I thought, or literally that was my excuse. And so, now I'm at the point, I have the gear. I have zero excuses for not hitting that button. It's zero.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you got a phone, you can use it as a camera in Ecamm. You don't have to run off and buy the most amazing camera in the world, because it turns out one of the most amazing cameras in the world is your mobile device. So you just need good audio. If you got good audio, I've also found that people will put up with bad video if you have good audio. So because they're waiting to see how the train wrecks. So that works out.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I agree. I mean, it can be forgiving if you have terrible video, but if your audio's bad, then you're just going to switch off. Especially, with a video podcast, because you can repurpose that as you do, and so on. And you've been on YouTube for about 11 years. Is that right? Something like that.
Yes, that is true.
I did try and look back a little bit and see when your first video was when you posted it, and then there's a break. Right? We all do that. We have a little video of something ridiculous, and then we have a break. But I wanted to go back real quick about when you mentioned about the hiatus on your podcast. What impact did that have to your numbers, and in terms of sort of people then retuning in? Because obviously you started up your podcast again. Did you lose a lot of people? Were they just right?
Well, that's the funny thing. Apple's analytics weren't easily accessible. So it turns out my podcast was actually really popular, and I did not know that.
Oh.
And so when I took the hiatus, wow. Yeah, I'd had like in the year and a half, 2 years of podcasting, I'd had 5,000 downloads, which I'm told that's a lot. And I'm like, oh, well,
that
great.
Is a lot.
They said if you get more than 5 people downloading an episode of your podcast, you're better than 90%. And it turned out I had over 5,000 downloads. So yeah, it clobbered my podcast. And not communicating with your community is a terrible thing. You need to keep your community informed. They want to see what you're doing. They want to support you. And I am big on building community. How can I help my community? What can I do? And so I was sad about that, because I had finally figured out how analytics worked, and I went back and looked at my old analytics. I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't work out too good. And now I take my live stream and I edit it down and repurpose it as my podcast. And I thought nobody would want to see that. I try to take out the visual elements in the story. But strangely, it's doing okay. Not the numbers that it once was, but I'm averaging about 40 to 50 downloads a month, which I think that's pretty good. I don't put a lot of effort into it because I fallen in love with YouTube. I'm a content creator, and YouTube is my jam. So, and then second runner up is Instagram. I give Instagram a little bit of love, but primary is YouTube. That's where I love being. So.
You bring up a really interesting thing there, because I started as an audio podcast and then sort of, like say, doing more streaming, and I'm at that stage now where how much of that sort of repurposing from the live stream or video then becomes the audio podcast, because it's quite a skill, isn't it? Like I say, to kind of make sure it sounds okay from an audio perspective with the visuals, because you want to keep the video really interesting as much as you can in sharing stuff, but keeping that as well. So take us a little bit into how you do that, or your thought process with that sort of around sort of just the editing of it.
So I try to rip out all the parts where I say be sure to hit the subscribe button and things like that. Just hit subscribe. And then I try to make when I mention comments, I try to, if I've read them out online, then I talk about those and try to keep it that way. And then anything where, like, I was doing lots of PowerPoint presentations or Keynote presentations or Canva. I've been trying every presentation to try to make it interesting. So I'm trying all the software that presents things, but I'll take those portions out unless have done a good job of presenting and reading that off, that information. So I'm not saying, look here. And then also, though, when I post my podcast, I do put a link to the version of it on YouTube. So if somebody really gets fed up with it, they can go hit that button and hit the link and go visit it on YouTube and watch it there. So I do try to spare the folks that just can't stand, or it's so broke up now because I've edited so much out that it's just not, why are you doing this? So I also will pick and choose. I'll let a lag time happen between my live streams and doing my podcast so that I have multiple episodes to choose from. So if I have an episode that I thought will do way better as an audio podcast, then I'll skip a couple episodes and do that one as an audio podcast, so that I'm just not torturing the listeners that are listening to it. Because I've gotten multiple folks tell me, yeah, I listen to it while I'm on the treadmill. So I want to make sure I don't throw them off their cadence on the treadmill or the exercise bike or the Peloton.
That's a good point you mentioned, actually. I was just going to say about how do you pick and choose? Because obviously, if you are doing a video tutorial that includes some visuals of some kind, then obviously that's not going to lend itself well to being an audio podcast. So the fact that you're sort of giving yourself a little bit of a buffer in order to edit down. And then some of those video live streams probably never make the audio podcast in some cases then. So you can just say, I'm not going to do that one. And then so you'll potentially have more sort of video based videos on YouTube, and then some supplementary ones on which system do you use, by the way? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, so I try to have guests on at least twice a month, and so those are easy to podcast because that back and forth and interaction is a conversation is always way more interesting than just a boring talking head like me. So,
right. I was just going to ask you, sorry, what syndication systems do you use? Where are you publishing your podcast?
So I'm a technical person, so I do it through AWS. I actually host my MP3 files on Amazon S3, and then I use a service called Blueberry to actually do my RSS feed. And so I publish it, I point the link into Blueberry, and then do an RSS feed. And then I am available. I've gone and registered myself back before they did that for you on all the different podcasting services. So if you go to Spotify or Amazon Music or anywhere, you'll find me. I am probably going to make the jump to YouTube Music soon. I haven't done it yet because I know Google Podcasts are going away and they're moving, and you can feed your RSS feed in. But then part of me is like, just take my live stream, call that playlist a podcast, and do that rather than bother putting audio on YouTube. It seems counterintuitive. I know people are listening to podcasts on YouTube Music. Why not just put the video out there and then they can listen to the video?
Yeah, it makes no sense, right? Yeah, because it's just still got an audio feed. Yeah, I don't know. Because YouTube's also got its own podcast section as well.
Yes.
And is that the one you're referring to? Is that the YouTube Music one specifically?
You just create a playlist and you say that's a podcast, and then you put the videos you want in it, and voila, magically it's a podcast.
I think that's the real key point often, is the fact that it's that kind of, you mentioned before about telling your audience what it is that you are going to do, and so if, like say, if it's very obvious that I'm a streaming show, I do video, and we use the audio to give you the best thing when we're doing an audio podcast, then they understand what that is, don't they? And then you can point them in the direction and they can use it in the best way that works from them. And I think just that kind of dialogue is such a key factor.
Yeah, you definitely need, if you keep your audience in the loop, some of them will reach out and check on you. So if you've done a good job of giving them a way to contact and communicate with you, I give out my Twitter handle. Of course, that's not the cool place anymore, but when it was the cool place, and I had 2,000 plus followers on that platform, it was really easy to say, hey, reach out to me, direct message me on Twitter. And now I'm like, okay, send me an email now. So I'll just put my email address out there and send me an email, and I'll go that route.
We've gone full circle, don't you think? I mean, I think a lot of these social platforms have become so diluted now. It's difficult to know where to put your energy. I think YouTube, obviously, for the type of content that we're doing right now is probably the best place. Augmented that with wherever we put our sort of podcasts, we use Captivate for ours, and I might use Captivate, but at least the syndications are still there on Apple, Spotify, and so on. But in terms of social platforms, do we still push to Instagram? Do we use X? I can't call it X. It drives me crazy. So do we use Twitter? Do we, where do we sort of focus our attention? And as content creators who are just starting out, and especially with some of the messages that you're helping people with on your podcast, it's a difficult question to answer, I think. Where should I focus my attention? Where do I start today? So over your 11 years on YouTube, and if you were to do it today, again, with all the knowledge that you've learned from your podcasts and your YouTube channel and everything else, what would be the one thing to give advice to somebody who's just starting out with the content creator journey? And the answer can't be don't do it. So we can't have that.
No, it's definitely not don't do it. I'm working on a video now. Everybody's, you see so many creators that we idolize, they're suddenly saying, well, I'm quitting YouTube.
I'm done.
because they
Yeah,
found out
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
done. I'm done
exactly.
with YouTube. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a video that says, I'm sorry. I'm going to continue on YouTube. Get over it.
That's really good. I ain't quitting. That's
So
what you should be
that, I
talking
ain't quitting. Sorry if you were hoping, my, you just, Mr. Beast says you got to make those 50 bad videos or those 100 bad videos.
Right.
And let's see, I
Yeah.
think I'm close to 470 bad videos. So I'm getting close. 470. I've got to be getting close to making good videos finally. But,
Exactly.
just several things. One is give yourself a 30-day challenge. If you are uncomfortable on camera, every day, get your cell phone out or something and do 5 minutes and just record yourself talking to the camera for 5 minutes. And you don't even have to release that anywhere. Just you for 30 days. And I promise you, after 30 days, you're going to feel much more comfortable in front of that camera. And then the other thing is just go live on YouTube. Nobody's going to watch the first videos. That's fine. But I'll tell you now, there's no video on my channel that hasn't had at least 10 people watch it. So
Yeah.
sooner or later, you will find your audience and they will come and watch these videos. And you got to start somewhere and you will get better. And yes, my video, the first ones were horrible, but I'm not going to take them down because they're an evolution, or, definitely you see a progression that I've gone through. You've got to do that same thing. Everybody has something that they need to share with the world. And this is a great platform to do it. Everybody should be a content creator. I always joke. Doing this content creation has helped me as a public speaker. I taught in a classroom and I'm teaching in front of students. I would be a nervous wreck there when I was doing that. I'd get nervous. I'd have to drink water because I get nervous. I have a lot of nervous energy. But now I'm very comfortable getting in front of a crowd of people and talking about things. And that came from going live, hitting that record button, that go live button, and being on screen and talking to the camera, making it your friend. Just pretend the camera's your friend and that you're telling a story. And I think that is the best way to get started. Just start. Don't worry about production quality. If you've got something to say, people will find you, people will listen, and they will love you. They will love you, and you will slowly build a community because you'll have things that you share together, a journey together. A lot of my community is other content creators who are on the same journey that I'm on. We're trying to get, build audiences, build a community, all the cool things that YouTube provides, the benefits. If you eventually get monetized, that's great, but it's not my priority. My why is to teach people something that they didn't know, or show them how I make mistakes so they don't have to. That's kind of where I'm at. And now I'm going to hush for a little bit.
Lisa, I think you had a question.
Yeah. No, don't hush now. I have
Okay.
a question.
No.
I'm going to circle back because you were talking about the evolution, and I was, trolling your YouTube channel, which I enjoyed very much. And I saw that you started a new series on the channel called Techtroublemaker Morning Show. And I saw one of the one of your followers called it Drive Time with Roy. So I love that it's such a laid back feel that you have with it. So I want you to talk a little bit about, why did you decide to start doing, driving with Roy in in the mornings or afternoons, or just showing your life? What made you decide to do that?
Well, so I have a part tragic story. It's not really tragic, but it was my feelings got hurt. Let's just put it that way. I had the YouTube channel and I did Vlogmas one year, and I didn't do tech content every episode because I'm a huge fan of Christmas. And so I wound up doing episodes of like Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I've got proof. My top 10 favorite Christmas songs, my top 10 favorite movies. And so then vidIQ does live reviews of channels. And I always kept submitting mine and they never picked me. Well, guess what? January hit and I submitted mine just because I knew they weren't going to pick me, so I wasn't worried about it. And they trashed my channel because I don't have any idea. You call yourself Techtroublemaker. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if these videos are tech or not. They look like Christmas. What are you doing here? So I'm like, well,
Ooh.
okay. So last year I said, I'm going to do Vlogmas, but I'm going to go out of my way not to look like I'm doing Vlogmas. And so I just decided I would put the camera up in the car, and because it's a good studio. Cars are amazing studios. If you're looking for a good
Great
sound
sound.
booth, your
Oh, yeah.
car is amazing as a
Yeah.
sound booth. Just there you go. For those that have not hit record yet, hit go live, get in your car and do it. Granted, it's hard to carry the
Safety
Mac around,
first.
but you can do it. You can do it. You can do this. So, but anyway, so I do those in the car, and I just talk about things I'm thinking about because I obsess over content creation. I am always thinking of new ideas. I'm always thinking of new ways to present things. I throw a lot of things at the wall to see if they stick. And some people say vlogs are dead. No, I think they're back again because people are looking for authenticity. They're looking for minimally edited videos. And so that's kind of a trend that's happening. Now, granted, not everybody's doing it. And so I said, I'm just going to do this where I talk as I'm driving about things I'm thinking about. And at the same time, I may let slip some things I've got going on in my life at the same time. And so, yeah, I know there's no hook. That's the problem with them. There is no hook. You get in there, the video starts, and I'm telling you about what I'm doing. I got to go pick up some food. This is my family Uber Eats run, stuff like that. So it's, it doesn't have a hook. So anybody who watches it obviously just has a lot of patience, and I thank them for their patience. But I really love the comments that people have left me on it. And so maybe I'm just doing it for those three people. But I get a kick out of it. And I do have a lot of ruminations in my head about the whole content creation thing. I wake up at 4 a.m. and there's ideas in my head. I'm like, I got to write this down now. I'm like, oh man, what are my scenes going to look like for the show tomorrow night? I've got to make sure I do this. I'm going to do a quote box and stuff like that. So I just obsess over it. It's crazy, and just to get those out and share it. And plus I'm reading a lot of books listening to a lot of books, I'll admit, about not just content creation, but about communication, about all facets, of life. And I kind of share some of the wisdom I get from those books as well. I'll see a nugget. Wow, that's really good. So that's where that's coming from. And so when Christmas is over, I had several people reach out to me. Are you going to keep doing those? I wasn't, but okay. So I'm doing them, but now they're kind of random. If it's a day where I feel, hey, this is a good day, I'm going to do a recording and see what happens. And then trying to edit together and release it the same day is the hard part. So sometimes it comes out a couple of days after because, and they are recorded in the morning.
I love it. I think it's refreshing because everybody's trying to make everything, so right. And I don't know, it's just you're so authentic when you're doing it, and I want to know what's going on. So I enjoy it. I keep doing them when you feel like it. And I like that.
I've got 4 people now that say I should keep doing them. Okay, I'm going to keep doing it.
I'm number 4. Keep
5,
doing it when you
5.
feel like it.
5. Okay, whoa. Do I have 6
there
then,
you
Mark?
go,
Like,
see?
I don't want nothing
There
to do
you
with
go.
this.
No, absolutely from my point of view. But I was just going to say, if Lisa says do something, you don't have any choice. So you're in it for the long haul now.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
God. You know
That's
what
how it
else I
works
like
around
that
here.
you said was about throwing the spaghetti on the wall, because I'm about that theory, because you don't know what's going to work. You have to test things out, and you may not like even doing it. Or you might discover, hey, I didn't know that was, going to resonate with me and with the audience. So I love that you test things out. So cool.
Yeah.
I think it's
I should probably spend more time on analytics, but I don't, to see what really works and what doesn't. But I there's a hamster wheel you feel like you get on there for a bit. I did reach a burnout period, and you feel like I've got to keep the hamster wheel moving. And finally I said, if I'm not having fun doing this, I'm just not going to do it. And as long as I'm sticking to my why, which is to teach, to inform people about something that hopefully helps them in their content creation journey, then it's okay for me to do it, even if it's not perfect. So sorry, Neil, I didn't cut you off.
No worries. I was just going to say I agree with you. I think if it becomes a job, especially when you're doing this type of content creation, I think we're all in it because we enjoy doing what we do. And if it became like, you get up in the morning, like, I have to do another video, and I have to be about this, that's there's no fun in that. And I've struggled with that as well sometimes, where some videos that have done well on my side have been tutorials, but they're quite involved and they take time, and I don't necessarily always want to do that. I want to do something fun. And as Lisa said, now you've sort of captured something completely different that you wanted to do for you. You thought it'd be fun, and it's resonated with obviously 5 people. So those 5 people are going to keep you going with that show. 6. I feel like I'm on an auction. 7. Let me have an 8. But I think that number of people will sold. That number of people will just keep it going, though. Because if your audience is demanding certain things from you, then obviously it's resonating with them. And I think that's what we should all just sort of keep in mind, that we don't always have to do it to please everybody, and we never will. We're never going to be able to please the entire audience out there. So do what you keep doing, and do it for you. And I think it's refreshing as well. It always reminds me a little. I thought you were going to start off with some carpool karaoke. I thought you were going to get some friends in. You're going to start singing, and you're going to do. So you could do that, but that's already been done. But
if I had some creators that lived nearby, I was going to do content creators drinking coffee. But there
you go. Content car creators. I mean, there's so many. We could do that. I wanted to ask you a little nugget of a question that I came across on your website, because again, we do a little bit of stalking when we get guests on the show. You and your wife featured in a Computer World article called "Geeks in Love" in 2011. So, and I looked at the article. Tell us, how did that happen? Where did that come about? I'm fascinated.
So I was on LinkedIn, and one of their journalists had posted that she was going to do an article about techies that are in love and married and all that. And I said, hey, this will be fun. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, me and my wife both are geeks, and so we'd be glad to do it. And so we got on a call. She interviewed us, and so the article came to be, and there you go. So yeah, my wife works in IT as well. And it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed the stories from that, and we still get a kick out of that. It was a lot of fun doing that. So
it's great that you have this sort of this article written about you now. It's a bit of a legacy there, and you can something to tell the kids about, right?
Yeah, they don't want to hear it, but yeah.
Yeah, you have to make them hear it. That's the thing. Yeah, you will listen to
this. They'll appreciate it. No. It's just one more way to embarrass me. Anyway, no.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So, say again, sorry?
I said it sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, yeah. So as somebody who's used to sort of technology, and you obviously mentioned you and your wife are both sort of technologists, I mean, it's advancing so quickly, right? There's been many advances over the years, particularly in the realm of AI. And we're all using some element of AI in our sort of daily workflow, whether it be something to do with email reading or ChatGPT or analytics on YouTube and all the plugins that you get now. How do you think AI is going to change the way that we create content in 2024? And do you have any AI tools of choice that you're using today to help you with that? And how is it helping you?
So I use ChatGPT a lot. I was subscribed to it early on. Had luckily got in early and played around with it when it was just kind of a thought, and so that was kind of cool. And so I joked that I sold my digital soul to Google back in 1996. And that's loosely true, because over the years I participated in a lot of case studies and stuff with Google, and they've sent me lots of free gadgets. I had when the Chromebook first came out, I had the first one, the CR48 Chromebook. They had a student of mine reached out to me and said, hey, you're getting a Chromebook. I'm like, how do you know? He says, well, they said Roy R. from South Carolina. You're the only Roy R. I know that's in South Carolina, so you must be getting a Chromebook. And then 2 hours later, UPS shows up, and there's my Chromebook. So that was kind of creepy, because they posted on Twitter, and they would just do first name, last initial, and what state you're from. And cool. So I was excited. I'm a huge fan of Google products. But, all that to say that I've gotten to play around with Bard before Bard was out in the open, and I played with ChatGPT because I stumbled upon it. But ChatGPT is my favorite. I'm waiting on Google's Bard to catch up. But I use ChatGPT for kind of helping me flesh out creation ideas, to help me, formulate questions for interviews. I use it to help me with presentations. I use a lot of the plugins. So you can have it generate a presentation, and then I'll take the presentation and fix it because it's stilted. It's still kind of stiff. So that's not my style. I've got to make it interesting. I've used it to do thumbnails. So if you see some of my morning show, I'll do thumbnails sometimes with ChatGPT and say, okay, this is approximately what I would love to get ChatGPT to let me send it a picture and say, make an AI of me in it. So I know there are AIs that do that, and I've played with them, like 11 Labs, and others, but actually, I used 11 Labs to do cloning of my voice, but that was a different story. I've been playing around with a bunch of different AIs. I wanted to get to the point. I've even early on did a video that was completely done with AI. I had ChatGPT write the script, and then I went to another site and I had it do the video, and then I went to another site and had it read the script for me because I was trying to do what can I do with a video that's completely free, and I'd literally have to like use just enough to not cross that line to have to pay for it, and I made a video out of
Yeah.
it that way. And so, so I use it just kind of to see what the world, to get an idea what the world's thinking.
Right.
Granted, you got to take it with a grain of salt because not everything AI says is true. And so be careful of that. But for coming up with creative ideas and helping add texture to them, I think it's very useful for that. And I do like the thumbnail creation, but you got to be careful. If you use too much AI in your thumbnails, then you become a character or an avatar, and then you have to decide, am I going to continue to be that, or am I going to continue to be myself, and I just have some AI embellishment? And you're going to find that people are going to go extremes. You got the extreme where people say all in on AI, and then other people say, I'm not doing anything AI. And I think the best answer is right in the middle, where you use it as a tool. It's not you. It's not what you're doing, but it's a tool to help you get there. And so as long as people treat it as a tool and not the answer to the question, I think they'll be great. And it'll really help content creators get better and better and just make the process faster.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's been a sort of a shortcut to a lot of processes that used to take a long time. And it's having your own sort of digital assistant now to help. And I don't mean a little Clippy back in the days of Microsoft, not that kind of digital assistant.
Miss
Remember
Clippy.
that? Was it called? It was Clippy, wasn't it?
called
Yeah,
Clippy, yeah.
Miss Clippy. Maybe they'll
You're
bring it back.
aging
Maybe
yourself,
Bard
yeah.
will be the new Clippy. But I think, a lot of people are using ChatGPT in the same way that you are to help flesh out script ideas, do research and things like that. And I did something similar to you where I just took one, I think it was just one program, can't remember what it's called, it was in video or something, where I thought, can I just create a YouTube short on a particular topic? And you just give it a prompt and you give it this. I thought, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm not going to edit it. It said it's going to give you a male British voice from up north, which it clearly wasn't. But it sounded more like an Australian chap. But anyway, apart from that, it sort of did a decent job. So I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two of these. I'm just going to throw them in the shorts feed and see how well they do. And obviously, they didn't do very well at all. But it's an interesting experiment to see whether people are really interested in just listening to the content that gets created by AI, or whether we still need humans, obviously. But I think, like you said, there are people out there who are just going to create everything 100% using AI. There's even channels that are just AI-driven channels that are getting hundreds of thousands of views, becoming monetized. It's just crazy that people are thinking, well, where's the connection? I hope we don't start to lose even more some of these connections that is happening when you use artificial intelligence and different type of tools, because we don't want that, because that's why we've got this show to sort of capture and talk to people like you, good soul. Lisa, I think
maybe in 10 years.
Quick question.
Maybe in 10 years.
Maybe in 10 years, yeah. Give it 10 years, yeah. Well, in that case, won't be called YouTube anymore.
I have a quick question. It may not be quick, but you are a man who wears many hats. You're an IT pro. You are a professor. You are a
Okay.
content. Yeah, you bring up hats. Content creator. You have a family. Share with us, how do you juggle all of this? How do you take care of yourself and everyone else and make all this happen?
Well, the easy way is just ignore your family. That works pretty good.
Yeah.
So, no. No. Yeah, I have to compartmentalize and make sure that I make my family a priority. That I can get deep down the rabbit hole of content creation and ignore the world. So I've kind of like made a promise to myself and to my wife that I'm going to do a better job of not just ignoring, when the leaky faucet's happening. I will go fix it, and then I'll make a video of it. It's always content. No,
Everything's content.
everything's content. No, but
Everything's content.
I try very hard to juggle that. The day job. So very much Saturday mornings are my content creation time, and Sunday evenings. So I spend time trying to create videos and then finish my editing on Sunday. And then my live streams, I'll try to do the prep on Sunday nights, and then I'll finish it up on Monday, or that last hour right before the show goes live, I will finish up because I'm always fine tuning things. A couple of friends of mine joke that I have 1,000 scenes every episode. I do change scenes a lot. So it's so easy in Ecamm to do that. And so I will just change scenes and hit my stream deck and change to the next scene. So it's pattern disruption, right? That 8-second rule, you're supposed to change up the pattern. But it's a juggling act. Yes, exactly like that. It's a juggling act. I'm not always successful as I'd like to be. My family and my day job are the priorities because this channel isn't paying for itself yet. So once it does, you never know. But I have a 5-year plan. I'm starting year 3 on that plan. The first year was to figure out what the heck I'm doing. The second year was to figure out what the heck I'm doing. The third year is to figure out how to make money doing whatever the heck I'm doing. The fourth year is I hope this is monetized by then. And then the fifth year is, okay, I'm here. I made this. What next? What's my next goal? Because once I get where I want to be on, because my goal really is to have 10,000 people follow my channel, to be a true community, and to build out like that. That is my big goal. I don't want the silver play button. I don't want any of that. I want 10,000 people that really want to be involved as a community and grow together as content creators. And let's just form a community and talk about content creation. I have friends we'll do like little Zoom sessions like once every other week or so and talk about content creation and things we've done and experience we've tried, because we're all trying to grow together. That whole thing I always joke about, that the tide lifts all boats. I want all the boats to ride that tide together. I really want I want everybody to be successful at YouTube if they really want to do it. And then when they hit on hard times, let's talk and get past those challenges and move forward. So it's a challenge. I have not perfected it, but I'm having fun, and I try to focus on what the priorities are and do those things. My day job is the priority behind family, so I have to do what it requires. And I still love my day job. I've been there a long time, so it's fun. But I also love content creation. Would I want to do this full time? Maybe not. Maybe I'd want to do it a fully involved part time and do something and kind of keep doing the other side of me. So I can never do one thing. I'm all over the place.
I love that you're flexible and you're open to possibility of what you want. So we need to hear that message more, I think.
Yeah, I think so, because a lot of people just get, I think, too focused on the numbers, the followers, the subs and things. And, what's the old saying? It's better to have 100 fans than it is to have 10,000 followers, because you want people that enjoy your content,
right,
and can learn from it. I mean, we're all in the process of creating content for whatever reasons. I'm similar to you, where I'm trying to teach people different workflows and stuff like that. And I enjoy that. And Mark has got his own podcast on the teaching community, and Lisa helps people with remote video and remote production and kicking off our YouTube channel again. Do you think YouTube is the only place for you in terms of building this community, or do you think things like Discord and having maybe another place where people can come together? Because I think some of the things that we've talked about is like the communities element of YouTube is very underrated. Many people use that, the communities tab. And when you've got all the followers on YouTube, is it advisable then to move them somewhere else to Discord? And then that's another bit of overhead and another time that you have to put into. What's your thoughts about building an actual community? And is it YouTube is the platform for you, or would there be somebody else?
So it's kind of like people learn different ways. You have visual learners, you have, audio listeners, people that listen, they learn well from that. You have those that can only learn from hands-on experience. You got those who can learn from reading. And YouTube is my main platform. I do think I do have groups that meet outside of YouTube where we kind of go deeper, because that face-to-face, to be able to meet together and talk, is huge and a lot of benefit. But priority one for me is to build the community here. And then if somebody wants to go beyond that, then to give them another platform to be able to do that. I like Discord. It's a little kludgy at times, but I like it okay. But YouTube is great. I do wish there was a way to interact even more so in YouTube, more than just chat. There's a lot of times I'm like, oh man, make it easier for people to send you a message and to reach out to you so you can communicate back and forth. But YouTube is my primary platform, and then I'm doing some Zoom sessions, or I'm doing I'm getting working on a course right now, so I'm going to have that available. And part of that, it's going to be a cohort. I have to have that interactive part where people can ask questions. To me, go watch this video and learn how to do something, and don't bother me with questions. It's just not the way to go. I want to make sure that I'm accessible and can help with the challenges I may have. And so I've jumped on some one-on-one sessions with folks that are like, I can't figure out how to do this in Ecamm, or I can't figure out how to get my mic to work. And I'll jump on a call and we'll work together on that. People that I met through YouTube. And so that is just so rewarding, because I like helping people. And so just kind of, I just enjoy that. We should all be seeking to help others. And
definitely. Yeah.
I like that.
And I think the place, the Ecamm family, as we know on the Facebook groups and Discord, is a great community. There's so many helpful, supportive people on there, and it seems to be that there's new people every day coming in to that group asking the same questions that we've seen, but they're new, right? And as you said, there's people that learn from watching hours and hours of videos, and people just call and say, look, I just want you to show me how to do this. So everybody's different in how they consume and how they learn. And I think being content creators, especially in the space where we're educating and learning people, there's so many different mechanisms, even within YouTube, to help them support what they do, either learning through the tutorials you do through presentations, or whether it's like a course. And is your course going to be hosted on something like Kajabi, or are you going to do something yourself, something very techy?
No, it's going to be on something like Kajabi. Not Kajabi, but something like Kajabi.
Right.
Kajabi is a great platform. It's a little pricey just starting out, I think.
It is. It is, yeah.
I have to wait. I kind of think I can start off on a much lower tier platform and start there. And then when a need arises and I need to move to Kajabi, then I graduate to Kajabi, because it's definitely a very slick and polished platform. But I usually I'll send out invites for things that I do to a group of creators and say, you mind being my guinea pigs? And anything I do with this, it's free for life for you, because you helped me beta test it in the early days, and being supporters like you are for me. I really appreciate that. So that's kind of my mindset, is what I do. And that's where I'm going with that. I'm taking it slow. I'm going to beta test it, make sure that it provides value before I open it up to the world. Because I don't want to send out, I don't want to support a problem. If I can fix it before I send it out to the world, then I want to fix that. So
exactly. And your plan is to potentially do that this year, or is that something for next year in terms of
this year? Probably by
this year.
June of this year, I'll have that.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
You heard it here first.
Well, yeah, we hit it first.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we have gone a little bit. We have gone a little bit more over than we expected, which is wonderful, because you've been such a wonderful, easy guest to chat to, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. I think we have a slide to show people where they can get in touch with you. There it is. Look at that. Very beautiful. Hopefully I've got everything right on there. Is there anything we've missed, Roy, in terms of where people can get hold of you? I think everything is on your main website.
Those are my favorites. Let's see now. My you've got my YouTube wrong. It's Techtroublemaker. It's X. It has, unfortunately, I haven't paid enough to get the vowels, so I'm missing the A and the E in Maker.
Sorry, I got it wrong. Okay, I'll correct that.
It's all good.
I put the
We'll
put the links in the show.
You'll
There you
find
go.
me.
There you
I'm
go.
up there. So,
all right, I'm
do it in the
fired then
edit.
from using Canva. That's fine. I'm fired from using Canva. Well, Roy, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. You're more than welcome to hang around, join in the quiz that we've got coming up very soon. And yeah, we'd love to join you on your show as and when you do your international one. And keep the car videos going. I'm sure it's going to turn into some sort of carpool karaoke. I'm convinced. Watch this space. If it does,
yeah,
you're welcome. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, and I'm sorry I talked too much.
Roy.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure, Roy. Thank you so much. See you soon. Thanks, Roy.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Brilliant.
Wonderful. I love guests that are so easy to talk to. It's great.
Exactly.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Exactly, and he's got another fan. Marcus was the one who was adding the numbers
7.
as we were going up to the things.
7 for carpool time.
Yeah,
So many things you could do, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a few people have joined us while we've been going as well. Hi, George. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate all of that, and a lot of people kind of really just agreeing with Roy and the things that he was saying. And I think that's one of the things about the community, isn't it? It's just being supportive enough to sort of really help and really sort of go for it. And we'll all be here to support and kind of give you that extra bit of oomph if that's what you need, just to sort of push you over the line. Brilliant.
And you don't have to be a massive YouTuber now, as we've talked about. There's so many YouTubers, the big ones, just saying, "All right, we've made our money, we've done our 10 years, 15 years, we're done." And I think now, even in 2024, there's never a bad time to start a YouTube channel and just to start creating. There's somebody out there that will like what you do, no matter how geeky or crazy you may appear to the audience.
Absolutely.
That's my theory anyway. I keep telling myself every day just to make sure that I keep saying.
And the community will come to you no matter what your community is. If you've got them, they'll come.
Exactly.
Find you.
Yes. Yeah. Stalkers,
They will
whatever.
seek you out
You
and
know.
find you.
Yeah, exactly. We've been at this long enough to know that's the case.
Yes, and we're building a little community now. I mean, you know, we have people actually watching us, which is scary and wonderful at the
Thank
same
you.
time. So I would really appreciate everybody who's joined us so far. It does go downhill from now, but just keep watching anyway. It's going to
Yeah,
be
we have a few extra things we'll need to be
it's the
involved
fun-
in.
We do.
Fun stuff now.
Exactly. I know. I'm kidding. See, that's building anticipation. They're going, "Oh, what do you mean?" And now it's quiz time.
Well,
The quiz.
I think this is very true. More Lisa next
Sounds
time.
great.
That's what we need. We need more Lisa.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what Dan says. Well,
Yeah. I mean,
We'll
I think
come to that
I
next
think that was.
time. Yeah.
I think it was a polite way of saying less Neil, but we'll take it whichever way you want.
oh, you cut me deep. You cut me real deep, Mark.
Sorry.
Oh,
Anyway,
my.
we
That's why
were
we're
moving on
friends.
to what
Yeah.
exactly did you say?
It's going to be a fun meeting.
I think it's the quiz.
After show meeting.
It's the quiz. Yeah, quiz show meeting. I think it is the quiz.
Quiz next. Okay, here we go. So the way the quiz is going to work, we need to remember all the things we didn't do on the last show, which was what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to put the answers to the quiz in the chat, and we'd like you just to put the letters of the answers, so A, B, C, or D. So hopefully that's clear, and the rest of it should be fairly straightforward as long as you're an expert and a pro and interested in Ecamm in every single way. Are we ready? Let's do it.
Yes. Do it.
So, for all of you, what should be your default source settings in Ecamm when creating scenes? I'm going to give you a few seconds to write that. So please put A, B, C, or D in the comments, and we'll be back with you very shortly with the correct answer. Hopefully, we have Neil as the expert there. I'm fairly sure he would be okay with this, but you never know.
This might be a bone of contention, though, Mark, because there may be multiple right answers, and it could be subjective. So I'm going to give you what I think my right answer is, and you can argue with me in the comments. It's fine.
And
I
we
don't
can go
mind.
from there. That's true. So far,
Exactly.
it looks good. It seems to be that we're in a position to be able
Do
to.
we potentially have some winners, and we did
Well, we
give
we have some
enough
people
time
involved.
this
Yes.
time.
Lots of
Yeah.
D's.
Oh, well, that's something at least. People answering questions is always good. We don't care if it's right or wrong. They're just answering questions.
Well, I think also the most important thing is the fact that they're actually listening to the people that are involved, are actually giving this information, which is absolutely brilliant. So well done. And the first person to get this right was, and it was Roy. Fantastic. Well done, Roy. Excellent work. Excellent work.
No prepping was done prior
Yeah.
to the show. And we can say that. Absolutely.
And I think,
Well done,
to be
Roy.
fair,
Yes, we should
Liz.
recognize the others.
exactly. And Marcus has a good point there. Stop watching the call because they have a delay and Roy's in the thing. I
that's
think
right.
Roy's on it, probably on a delay as well.
That's right, Marcus. You're 15 seconds behind everybody else, and Roy's got an advantage.
Yeah,
So there you go.
exactly. So we're
That's a
just
good point,
bringing.
actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, bring the first person in is the is the way forward. Okay, right then. So I think that's very true. So here we go. Second question then. Here we go. And this was Lisa's, I believe.
That's right.
What day of the week does DJ Strick host the stream show? Is it A, Saturday, B, Friday, C, Sunday, or D, Wednesday?
Oh,
Interesting. And I've just
Ooh,
realised that I'm not sure that I
interesting.
said the answers on my when I did mine. So we'll
you didn't, but it doesn't matter. It's fine.
it's fine. We'll do it as a little drop in for the audio podcast, having just listened to Roy's expert ideas of what to do, just completely ignored
Exactly.
them. But there you are. You live in
Just do a little voiceover that doesn't like you at all. It's like an AI. Hey.
exactly. I'm wondering whether in the end we might actually need some slightly harder questions, but I think maybe question 3 might stump a few people, but we will see
I think
how
so.
it goes through.
Right.
So, got a couple of answers. Very good. Anyone else want to pop in before we give it away?
I'm in there.
The answer
And
is
the answer is C, Sunday.
very, very
Ooh.
cool.
Ooh,
Who got the right answer?
Congratulations.
Well done. Well done, Vincent. Well done.
good job.
Love it. And
Bravo.
question 3. Are you ready, Neil?
I am. Let's do this.
Okay, let's do this.
All right. What year was Ecamm LLC, that's the company and not the program, formed? Was it A, 1990, B, 2004, C, I can't read that, 2001, or D, 1997? Sorry, I had a bit of a slippage there. Let's go to ourselves and get the answers. All right. Sorry, I couldn't see. I had something over the screen. Dear.
No, it's fine.
Teleprompter ghosting.
Here.
So that was above and beyond
dear.
you being blind, which you mentioned before. This is actually a proper.
Yeah, exactly. I have these glasses on, but sometimes they don't work. All
Yeah.
right. 18 seconds.
I think from the last question, I think that may well be true.
We talked about that.
Yeah, and then we decided that we couldn't quite work it out for everybody.
Yeah.
It's too complicated,
We did.
Dan. We're like, well, okay, which day is it? I did originally put Monday. I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We did talk about that.
We did.
that's really funny. Great minds.
It
and all
is
that. All right.
So, and the
So
actual answer was
is 2004, and that
Ooh.
is actually on a public record. I did have to ask Ken and Glenn, and they were scratching their heads before Daniel Lee actually came up and said, "Yes, I found the public record. It's 2004, guys. If you've forgotten." So there you go. But they did. There you go. Did we have an answer correctly?
did. Not
No.
all of them were right,
I don't
sadly.
think we
Unlucky.
did.
Oh, which is a shame. Did we have? Yeah, we had no one with B. Oh, that's a shame. So what do
dear.
we do then?
You-
You've got a running total going, Neil, of all these people, so that when we get to sort of week 53, we have we can actually give out a proper prize, like a mug or something. For those people going.
That's right. But are we gonna repurpose our own merch that we've put? No, we don't do things like that. No, it'll be washed and ironed. But anyway,
You're going to iron your mug? How do you iron a mug?
Well, yeah.
Well, whatever works, I think, is probably the way forward.
Whatever
And
works,
Roy's come to our save. He's saving us. Technically listed it Sunday, I think, for the thing.
Thanks, Roy.
Oh, we've got
Thank
a fight
you.
going on.
Fight. Okay, well, we don't
Anyway,
want to
yeah,
cause
so-
any disruption. I know,
Exactly.
it's all kicking off.
So,
All right, well, I will keep that running total, and as Mark said, at the end of the year, there will be some super prizes for the person who's answered the most questions correctly.
yes.
And do we give a booby prize for the person who's... No, I'm not keeping count of people who got that.
No.
No, we'll keep it going. But please do keep coming back, because, as I say, the more people that come back and the more people that we do it, the prize will get better and better and better. And then when we tell Ken and Glenn maybe what's going on, they might be able to up the prize as well on our behalf.
Exactly. We'll have to ask them.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All
Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
next is Creator Showcase. So every show we decide to feature 3 people from the Ecamm family. And these people were in our group in Creator Camp. And that's where we're starting, but we are going to obviously feature more people. So I'll just go from left to right. So we've got Mike Reed. So Mike delivers some online webinars and in-person workshops relating to the techniques and awareness around, teachings and techniques and awareness around mental health. Now, apparently, according to his site, he has a proven track record in public speaking and has delivered over 600 workshops. And he uses Ecamm exclusively for a lot of the online workshops that he does. Liz helps build real businesses with email marketing. So if you need help with creating engaging newsletters and gaining new clients and contacts, then check out Liz's site. She's got a template and lots of workshops to help you build that email client base. And Scott Ackerman is one of the tech guys at Speedify. And Speedify, if you don't know, is an application for when you need some extra internet bandwidth for all your live streams, conference calls, and even gaming and stuff like that. And the idea behind it is it will bind a 4G and a 5G connection from your phone and use all available internet-based connections to give you a faster upload and download speed. So those are our 3 Creator Showcase team for this show.
Very,
That
very
never
cool.
gets old.
That was our cheer, our camp cheer.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Marcus.
For the people, definitely.
One of us.
Every time we see that.
Exactly. Are we doing some merch on the perch?
Yes.
Yes,
go ahead,
let's
Mark.
merch and
on the
perch.
perch.
So one of the things we wanted to do was to get you involved, and we thought one of the ways of doing it, apart from doing the quiz and also being a guest and being part and sharing your stuff with us in the chat, was to send us in some of your pictures related to Ecamm. So obviously merch has been something which we talked about a lot today, but we want your merch in a way which is a bit of fun, or sharing it in a place that maybe you wouldn't necessarily expect it to be. So we've got 3 that we've shared today, but we'd love you to send them in so that we can show yours as well, and we'll have details of how to do that right at the end of the show. But here are 3 first of all. So this one is mine. This was a podcast training course I did for in London earlier this week, and I thought it was great until Neil then pointed out that maybe I could have done a little bit of cable organising, especially if it was going to be put on our show. But I did my best. That's all I can say. And and I think the main reason is, of course, is that he's quite the photographer. This is Neil's merch on the perch, which is just beautifully organised, and I think I can kind of see what he means by the artistry that's going on. I can only apologise.
I appreciate the realness.
Thank
That's
you.
real.
Lisa.
Yeah,
Thank
you're keeping it real.
Exactly.
It's not all fake. What you're
Keep it
saying is
real.
it's fake that I did. That's what
No,
you're saying.
no, I'm saying
No.
it's I'm saying it's professional, and I'll put me wherever that is. Oh no! Oh, Paul Marcus.
Oh no!
You broke the merch mug?
Oh
Really?
I'm
How
sure
did you
could
do
get
that,
one,
Marcus?
but-
How did you break it?
Yeah, aren't they metal? Yeah. Anyway, just to keep us all kinds of all of us in check, Lisa's the one that kind of brings the show back to normality. I love this picture.
It's lovely. It's fantastic.
It is. And where did you get the hat? Is that an
I
OG
ordered that,
kind of thing?
and it's an OG. I don't know. I ordered it a year or two ago, I think, and I like it because it's kind of already tattered and torn, like
Yeah,
it's got that lived-in look,
not just from wear and tear,
good.
it's real
not
reality.
just from wear and tear.
Looks great.
It's very good, very very good. So we spoke about the people that be at Ecamm who are really important, and so should we share our next guest?
Yes.
Yes,
So indeed,
let's do that.
the next guest is Katie.
Hey.
And everybody that knows Ecamm knows Katie, so she has graciously agreed, through no money changing hands, to join the show in a couple of weeks. And we're looking forward to having Katie on the show to talk about her role in Ecamm and also her Splinter podcast that she has, talking about old movies and stuff, which is super fun. I really enjoyed the Christmas movies that she did. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Fact, Roy Richardson, trademark. There you go. As he mentioned today. I just want to talk about real quick the show, which is coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be slightly different because, as you know, I live in Portugal and Mark lives in the UK. And for 1 week only, actually for a few days, Mark is going to come over to sunny Portugal and join me live in the studio. Maybe not this studio, because I'm not sure we're going to fit in this studio together. We might be fighting. We might just have to sit on my knee. But that's another awkward conversation we'll have when he turns
Yeah, that's
up.
a different show.
But
I thought we were keeping that under wraps.
that's a different
but
show
fine.
altogether.
Yeah.
Sorry, we are. That's a Splinter show. We'll do that next time.
Ventriloquist show. I'm whatever.
Anyway, so Mark will be joining me live in Portugal for the next Creative Amplify show. But Lisa is also not going to be in her home. You're going to be in Palm
Possibly.
Springs, right?
Yeah. I might be in Palm Springs in the desert with the lizards.
And Lisa has got the unenviable task of remote producing this show for us, as well as being the host, as well as being the person who's going to be asking all the questions. So that, and Mark and I are just going to be sitting back with a carafe of wine or three, eating some cheese and some Portuguese
Watching me
meat.
struggle
Wow.
on my stream deck. That's
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
you guys.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. It's
Yeah.
only the marketing head of Ecamm that's going to be our guest, so she won't mind at all.
Exactly.
Absolutely fine.
So no hiccups are necessary
No
for that
hiccup.
show.
Smooth
Looking
show.
forward to it.
No
Looking
problem.
forward to it. All right, so how can
Indeed.
people get in touch with us? If you want to send some merch on the perch, we want you to be our guest, and we have a sign-up link for that. We want you to send us your merch on the perch. There's more merch coming down the pipe. Obviously, with the new site, people are going to be buying it in the droves, especially with the Ecamm Fam discount code. And we want you to tell us about your show and how you get involved with video and podcast and content creation. So tell us a little bit about you, and you can be a guest on our show and share the love with everybody else that we have on our Creative Amplifiers family. You can get in touch with us in many ways. You can nominate or be a guest. That's right, you can actually nominate. You can shame somebody into being a guest on our show if you want. You can just fill in all the credentials for them and send it off. And then we will contact them and say, you're going to be on our show in 2 weeks. And they'll say, how did that happen? And we'll have no recollection of doing it. So you can nominate yourself as well if you want to. You can get in touch with us in the comments on the Creative Amplifiers YouTube channel. I did spell our name right on that Canva, which is good. Sorry, Roy. Very, very sorry about that. And on our Linktree link, you will have a link to sending us an email. So no signing up for any other strange websites, but you can actually get in touch with us via the Linktree. Click the QR code there. That's where you can send your merch on the perch and anything else. If you just want to have a chit chat, if you want to complain, anything you want, you can do on that email.
Absolutely. And so Dan had has
Can
a
I
message.
complain?
As a message, you can complain. Well, yes, I think is probably the answer. So
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Dan says you're going to be close to them in San Diego, and also, and which is what I love, if I can actually find the message from earlier on. He actually signed up during the show, which I absolutely love. And let me see if I can find this as well.
Who signed up during the show?
Oh, look at this.
We like that. Sign up during the show.
How cool is that? I think it's amazing. And thank you very much indeed for doing that. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
Love it.
More the merrier. Wow.
There we are.
Well, that's it, I think, right? Another 35-minute show in the bag.
Exactly. Well, we did say it might be 37. So we might be a little over, but we're close. We're close. Anyway, so well, thanks for everyone for joining us. We've had a lot of fun, as you can see. We wanted to hang out and have fun with everybody, and so yeah. If you've got any suggestions, anything you want to do, let us know through all those things in LinkedIn, and we will see you again. Fingers crossed with all those things that we said might be an issue. In a fortnight's time. Yeah, exactly. Fantastic.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Very soon. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.